Hi bitches, what's good? It's Janae and I'm back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about why finding VAUSH led me to actually becoming a leftist. And in order to do that, I think I want to kind of give like a little background onto the political upbringing that I had in my household. Okay, so in my household, my parents are actually, they're older than the typical parents for my age. So I'm 22 and my parents are in their fucking 60s. Now, a lot of people, their grandparents are in their 60s. So it is a little bit different for me growing up, having this like generational gap between my parents that's not there for a lot of my peers. So my parents didn't really have kids until they were in their 40s, right? So that's like very different. So I was brought up in this very religious, very like traditional religion too, not like no progressive type of religion, like very traditional conservative household. Okay, so that I was brought up like that. And I'm a trans woman, right? So me growing up like this and me being told these things, I knew right away that my identity, what I felt inside, was something that I had to keep inside. As a matter of fact, at the time, I did believe everything that they taught me, and I believed that God would hate me for being trans and I would go to hell, you know? So I did my best to hide it and ignore it for years until eventually I couldn't, you know, it almost completely destroyed me. But moving on, so I had a lot of internalized transphobia and homophobia, and this would cause me to fucking have very negative views against those groups. And anybody that was outwardly acting proud to be those people, I'm sad to say it, but I would be fucking mean to them. I would bully them at school and shit because I was so angry that I wasn't able to be myself. So now that you have that backstory of me being fucking all the way on the right and everything like that, I can kind of explain how I got to the point where I went all the way from that to being a leftist. Okay, so like first off, like I wasn't like super far right or anything crazy like that. Like as far as like race and everything, I was obviously very progressive with that because growing up around minorities and most of my friends being fucking minorities, like racial minorities, I didn't have a lot of white friends, you know. I was obviously very aware of like police discrimination and things like that, but when it came to issues like fucking trans and gay people, that's where, you know, I was pretty far right. I was pretty traditionally conservative when it came to those issues. So, you know, I kind of started to still not accept myself as being trans, but I came to a point where I wasn't outwardly hating these people, and I wasn't able to do that until I left the house, until I left like having all those bad influences. And then once I actually became trans, you know, my views did start to shift a little. However, when I was first trans, I was a trans medicalist, which is probably like the most far right you can be as a fucking trans person, you know. But as being a trans person, I'm getting a little bit more involved, and with YouTube, I'm getting more involved with shit too. When I had that drama with Blair Way and she actually ended up deleting my first channel, I have a playlist all about it, you can go look at it. But anyways, getting back on topic, so she deleted my channel, and then after that, it made me woke to a lot of people that are fucked up in the trans community. So I started making videos on Blair Way and fucking exposing her as transphobic and things. This led to like a lot more like videos on the left being recommended to me. Also with me I was just watching more trans videos anyway, and like watching trans videos and shit, like you're way more likely to be recommended like videos of much more left-leaning creators. So like honestly, I've always like kind of felt like I was in the center, but I've always like felt like I leaned to the left. So like at this point, like I wasn't a trans medicalist anymore, because after that shit happened with Blair, I started to realize all the shit that's fucked up about trans medicalism, how it really is hella toxic, and we don't need to be policing people's like fucking identities or nothing like that. But yeah, so after I started to move to that point, and I was like, I'm leaning left, but I never wanted to actually be a leftist. And this is because the way that leftists act online, I thought they were fucking weird, man. I thought they were fucking pussies, you know what I mean? I thought they was like literally like, you know what I mean? I thought they just get like offended about shit that's not important and shit like that, right? I didn't think I could be a leftist. And as far as socialism and things like that, I didn't understand that much. I knew this capitalistic system was fucked up, but I always like heard socialism as this fucking boogeyman, as many people have. But honestly, seeing a person like VAUSH, who is known as like a dirtbag leftist, right? Like he doesn't care so much about political correctness or things like that, and he's not gonna fucking like micro police and like micro micromanage like little tiny things and like the way people use words. He's more so concerned with like actual Nazis, actual bigots, and people that are actually spewing like fucked up propaganda that's actually pushing people to the right. So seeing a person like this and seeing him act in a type of way where like I can actually respect him, I don't feel like he's a fucking pushover, right? That made me feel more comfortable with being a leftist. And now I know a lot of people are fucking very angry about the fact that VAUSH is a leftist and everything, and that he acts the way that he does, and you know, whatever. But those people need to shut up, because you need to realize that like most of the world is not super politically involved to the point that you are. So like VAUSH is 100% right. Like he's got the key. He knows how to move people over to the left. You people need to understand that like most of the world is normies. And I've talked about this before, how what the left needs to win the culture war and just to bring more people to the left and make America more progressive is we need fucking normies. And that's why I think like my content is like the perfect like segregator for like to lead up from me and then to VAUSH. Like I can be part of this like leftist pipeline, and let me explain why. Because like when I watch a VAUSH video, one of the things I love about VAUSH is the way he approaches topics and the way that he understands things is very similar to me. Like I don't find myself agreeing so strongly with so many content creators on the way they argue certain topics than VAUSH. A lot of content creators I hear and I'm like, damn, why is he not arguing in this way? But I don't get that with VAUSH. I hear him and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, hit the nail on the head. The difference though is that what VAUSH does is he's gonna get everything. He doesn't leave no stone unturned. He's gonna pick a video and an argument apart piece by piece. What I do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna shorten it up. I'm gonna fucking just give you the simplified version. This is much more appealing to like normies, right? So like I really feel like we gotta focus on doing this and bringing people to the left, and the woke skulls gotta shut the fuck up. You gotta realize that like let's get real activism going. Let's crush the real bigots and let's stop talking about words on the internet. Anyways, peace out, bitches. Hope you have a good one.